It never gets easy sitting in front of this camera. I always get nervous. I always get a rush of, are they gonna come back? Do they still love me? Do they still like me? Is this gonna go good? Are they gonna understand? I always get nervous. But here we are. I'm back. Hi friends, welcome back to Shelby in the Book Club. I am Shelby Monet and I am back. It has been a very long 5 months since y'all have last seen me. I first want to say thank you for all of the well wishes. Thank you for those that have reached out, to check on me and make sure that I was okay. Thank you. I see you, I feel you, I hear you. I tried to record this before and then more things happened. So to keep this short and cute and not going into a bunch of detail, I will say this. Burnout is real. Depression is real. Stop ignoring these symptoms and these aches and these ailments and these odd things that are happening to your body. I needed a break. A lot of traumatic things have happened to me over the past decade, really, but within the last 3 to 4 years, most recently. And I tried to cover that up by, what does Solange say? I tried to work it away. I tried to smoke it away. I tried to drink it away, right? And none of those things worked. This is Shelby from the future. I don't have a substance abuse issue. I was using the song lyrics as an example. I just need y'all to know that I wasn't gone because I'm a crackhead. I was gone because I was depressed. And then I got sick. Okay. And then I am like, it just all exploded in my face. So I needed the break. I needed to rest. I am somebody that struggles with suicidal ideation. The more depressed I am, the more prevalent those thoughts are. So it just was a lot going on. On top of all of that, I got a diagnosis that I'm still feeling a lot of shame around. So I'm not going to talk about it quite yet, if ever. All of that to say, your health is really important. When your body is telling you that you need to rest, please rest. When you are having all of these symptoms, stop putting them off on other things. That's just happening because my period is changing, or this is just happening because I'm stressed, and I'm having more migraines because of the weather. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. I love you. I know it is nerve-wracking, especially as a Black woman. I hate going to the doctor, but it is worth it. Your life is important. Do not take your current abilities and your current state of life for granted. Listen to me when I tell you that not only from experience, but from watching my mother be sick last year, your life can be flipped upside down. The universe, God, the ancestors, whoever it is that you believe in and pray to will sit your ass down. They will stop you if you don't stop first. So that is where I've been trying to take care of myself. This is the first time in months that I've actually been able to sit up and do things. Like, I went and got my nails done, y'all. And I feel good, right? I don't feel great. I feel good. So all of that to say, I am back. I am healthy. And we'll talk about some goals later on in the video. I know what y'all want to talk about. Y'all want to talk about reading. So here we go. I've read 52 books so far this year. Mostly physical. I'm not going to put stats up. I will probably do that. I'll I'll probably just do like a wrap-up video at the end of the year and go through all my stats. So I'm not going to put anything on the screen the way that I used to. But 52 books so far this year, mostly physical, some audiobooks because I've really been enjoying audiobooks here lately. Mostly historical fiction. Y'all know that's my jam. I don't know why I try to read anything else sometimes. Especially when I'm not in the best headspace. Historical fiction is my comfort. I'm trying to think. I think that's really it stat wise. Someone did ask what were some of my favorite things that I've read while I was away. So a few of them I don't have physical copies for, or I do have physical copies and I just don't know where they are. So first I want to say Real by Kennedy Ryan. I've been reading a bit of romance, if y'all want a separate video on that, because I did buy some more Black romance books. So if y'all want to see that like in a haul video, leave a comment below and let me know. But Real by Kennedy Ryan, first of all, the cover is beautiful. The audiobook is phenomenal, y'all. So good. It is a full-on out production. So the story is about, I don't remember character names, forgive me, I'll put them on the screen. But it is about a woman who is an actress. She is on Broadway, and she's an understudy, right? But she gets called to replace the lead because the lead was sick or something like that. And there's this guy in the audience that is about to, he's a producer, I think a movie producer, and he is about to work on this film and he's looking for this person. He sees her. He's looking for a person to play the lead. He sees her, decides that it's her. She's never been in a movie before. There's some like messy background to him, right? And his previous relationship, and she has her own things going on health-wise. And they end up falling in love, obviously, while working on the set of the movie, trying to sneak around. The spice is spicy, and there's some information in the book about lupus and the different types of lupus, because that is what the main character has. And it just was so good. I devoured that book. Okay. The next two, which I also don't have copies of, but I will be getting copies of. The next one is Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. So on my journey of reading Black romance, everyone has talked to me about Beverly Jenkins. My friend Brooklyn Bookbell, aka Felicia, she told me basically that I should read everything by Beverly Jenkins, and some of her books are available or included with your subscription on Audible, which I have a subscription to Audible. Y'all know I got a subscription to almost every book app there is out there. And Indigo tells the story of a woman that is working on the Underground Railroad, and she is hiding someone else that works on the Underground Railroad who is very popular, but they're looking for him. He was beat up very badly. He's staying at her house. Listen, he's giving me, who was the man that was in Bridgerton that first season? Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm putting him on the screen. That's who I imagined when I was reading this book. And baby, he had a French accent. I listened to the audio for this. He had a French accent, baby. He had money. He swept his Indigo off her feet. Okay. Again, the spice was spicy. It's always good to see a Black woman being loved by a Black man, even when she is trying to keep him at a arm's length. It was a very, very good story. I love the historical fiction aspect to it. I love that they both were working on the Underground Railroad. I love that the book opens up with her history, which is that her father sold himself into slavery to be with her mother. Like, hopeless romantic. It just runs in the blood. It just was so good. I have started a few other of Beverly Jenkins books, but that one is my favorite. Okay, last but certainly not least, Fourth Wing. I absolutely loved Fourth Wing, and I cannot wait until November 7th for the second book to come out. I know that a lot of the fantasy girls were up in arms, but I will say this. Every fantasy book doesn't have to be this long, drawn out, very expansive world building story, right? Reading Fourth Wing made me feel like a little kid again. It made me feel like a teenager with a book that I was devouring that was like not necessarily light and airy because there is war. I'll tell you what it's about in a second. But it was just a quick read. It grabs you by the chest and just powers you through. So it is about a dragon riding war school, right? The main character, she was originally supposed to be basically going with the nerds, right? But her mama was like, you ain't fixing to embarrass me and my family lineage. I am a commander of this army. You will be a dragon rider. So this is a girl that has some disabilities. I don't really remember if they went into detail, but she is weaker than the rest of them. She is not built for this. But she makes her way through this dragon training and people trying to kill her, and then she fall in love, and it's a little spicy. My favorite part of this book, and I think it's probably going to be my favorite part about the entire series, is that the dragons in this story, the dragons have their own hierarchy. They have their own sense of community with each other. They have their own rules and regulations and things, and they talk. She can hear her dragon in her head. They can communicate with each other. So this is the first time that I've read a fantasy where the dragons have personality. They have personality. The dragons have personality. Okay? And not just assumed personality, but like her dragon is he feisty. Okay? He ain't with the playing in her face, excuse me, and being rude to her and trying to kill her in his presence and all of those things. It's such a good story. And the cliffhanger at the end, baby, had me and my mama in here hooping and hollering. Okay? Going crazy. Next, we're going to talk about the books that I do have the physical copies of. So, first of all, Lone Women was the last book club pick by Victor LaValle. Y'all, I absolutely love this book. Victor LaValle cannot do any wrong to me personally. He can't. There's nothing that he can do. I think he is an amazing writer. I think he is hysterically funny. I absolutely love him. This book tells the story of Adelaide Henry. Adelaide Henry is traveling around with a steamer trunk with some sort of monster thing in it that has been killing people all her life, right? And she is running away with the steamer trunk, and we follow her as she becomes a homesteader, trying to battle with this thing that's in the steamer trunk and how it affects her life and how it affects this new town that she lives in. It is absolutely amazing. It's witty. It is creepy in some senses. The writing is beautiful. You really feel like you are in this homesteading town in this cold snow, following Adelaide and her steamer trunk. What I will say, right, is on a deeper level that this book is about the things that you have hidden in your closet, right? What are your demons? How do they affect you? And it kind of reminds me of Bag Lady by Erykah Badu, right? You need to pack light. Because the people they see you and they're judging you, right? As much as you think that you're hiding these demons, how do they affect your everyday life? How do they affect the things that you're doing? How do they affect how you interact with people, how you interact with yourself, right? Everything kind of becomes this like plan to hide the demons. So I would consider that. Also, shameless Victor Laval plug. If you are not currently watching The Changeling on Apple TV, you absolutely should. That was the first book that I read by him. You guys may remember, I absolutely love The Changeling. It is what made me a fan of his. It's what made me look into his other books, and to start stalking him on the internet. It is so good. They're doing so well with adapting that book, and I think it shows why it's so important to have the authors involved when you are adapting their books, if it is possible. If not, their estate, if they are no longer with us. Next, again, I told y'all, romance. I've been reading a lot more romance than I have in the past, and it's not terrible. I think if you watch my old videos, I have said that like I hate romance because it's cheesy. And I've been finding some books that aren't necessarily cheesy. The Art of Scandal. Baby, when I tell you, it comes out of the door swinging with the mess, okay? It is about a woman named Rachel Abbott. Rachel is married to her husband, Matthew, who is the mayor in DC. And he is cheating on her. She finds this out because he sends a little risque picture to her on accident on his 40th birthday while she's in the kitchen, icing his cake and all of this other stuff. She get this picture and she like, who this for? I know it ain't for me because I ain't touched you. Okay. And then it goes into, all I'll tell you is there's some blackmail, there's some affairs, there's some scandal, a whole bunch of scandal, a whole bunch of learning how to love yourself again, not judging people by what you assume their class status means, also what their age may mean too. Okay, Miss Lady, she got her groove back a little bit. She learned a lot about herself and prioritizing some things, and it was a very good book. I would recommend that, either the physical book or the audio book. The writing is phenomenal. It was good. It was good. It's so much that I can say about that book, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It was very, very, very good. And then last but certainly not least, I'm not going to talk too much about this one because the next video that you guys see from me will be about this book and a little bit more in-depth review of it, as well as talking about some other things. So make sure you're subscribed and put the notification bell on so you don't miss any updates. But Holler Child by LaToya Watkins. You guys know that I have been raving about LaToya Watkins' first book, called Perish, which is an amazing story. It is deep, it is dark, but it is worth every tear and every uncomfortable moment, because I think it is very important to talk about generational trauma, especially from the view that is in Perish, where Perish kind of goes through the family lineage and gives you certain situations that led to other situations. I think often we think that the trauma that we're experiencing has started with us when really it has started generations before us, right? If we don't heal certain things, our children will have to heal them, or their children and their children, and so on and so forth, until the things are rectified. Okay. Holler Child is a collection of short stories that tackles relationships in the Black community. There are stories in here about parents, mothers and their sons. There are conversations in here or stories in here about men and dating or marrying women that are of higher status than them, right? And how that affects them. There are conversations in here that are trigger warning worthy. It was absolutely amazing. It's little, it's not that long. Y'all know I tell y'all all the time that the tiny books are the ones that'll have you wrapped up in your feelings. The last story in this book had me sobbing, right? I think it also is a conversation about how your family can trigger you in certain ways, right? And that could be trigger you to do better or trigger you to regress. And how a lot of times we're stuck because we're angry. Whether that be angry at ourselves or angry at your mama or angry at your daddy or whoever, we're stuck because we're angry. And if you don't process those feelings somehow, you're not going to get far. I highly suggest this. So those were my favorites from while I was gone over the last 5 months. Now let's talk about my current reads. The first one, I don't have the physical copy yet, but Mom and I are going on Monday to the book signing or the book event for Nicole Walters' book, Nothing is Missing. Isn't this cover beautiful? It is so beautiful. Nicole is such a beautiful person. I haven't been listening to as much nonfiction. I wanted to read more nonfiction this year. And it kind of got swept under the rug because the few nonfictions that I did try to read that were about history were making me very, very upset. And I try not to live in a constant state of anger. Excuse me, but what is that quote? I think it's James Baldwin, correct me if I'm wrong, but to be an aware Black person is to be in a constant state of rage. And I try not to be there. Right. So my goal for reading nonfiction kind of got swept under the rug, but this one has been very interesting to listen to. It's kind of funny because I know some of Nicole's life story because my mom is a really, really big supporter of hers. So like I knew about her adopting her children, and like her stamp in the natural hair community, but listening to her talk about her childhood, and I think my favorite part about it so far, because as of right now, I'm about like 43% of the way through the book. She's talking a lot about how different things in her life have prepared her for other things in her life, right? Like some things that may be viewed as failures or as, just hard times in her life have led her to being able to adopt her children, right? So it's very, very good listening to these full circle moments for her, right? Especially as someone that, like I said, like I've kind of know her life vicariously through my mom. And I'm happy for her. I'm happy. It's an inspiration. I'll say that. The physical book, because my reading schedule has been like a physical and a audio, so that I'm getting in like 2 to 2.5 books a week. My physical book is Trinity by Zelda Lockhart. This is my first time reading a Zelda Lockhart book. As y'all can see, I am annotating because that is what I like to do. This book is phenomenal. I am 108 pages in, 109 pages. So almost halfway through this book, and I'm just gonna go buy all the rest of Zelda Lockhart's books. Like, I'm just gonna go get them. So this tells the story of the Lee family through their life experiences, as well as through spirits, like view of them, of trying to guide them through these certain experiences and help them through certain things. I think y'all might hear Gunner. I apologize. He is a troll. Y'all know how my baby is. So the book starts off with Benjamin Lee when he is a child, and it follows him through his life, then through his son's life, and then we eventually get the spirit when she becomes a person. It is heavy, but much like Hollow Child and much like Perish, it is challenging the view of how we interact with family and how a lot of the decisions that we make are protecting our inner child and are preventing ourselves from being triggered, as well as trying to do what we think is best, right? But a lot of the times we are acting from a place of me and not we, right? Because things are reminding us of our own traumas. Things are reminding us of, life experience, right? Like Benjamin Lee, they call him Benny in the story. He went off to war, right? So he got trauma from when he was a child because his daddy won't worth three pennies rubbed together. And he got PTSD, which wasn't known as PTSD back in this time, right? Back in the 50s and 60s. So he dealing with war flashbacks on top of flashbacks from when he was a child. There are some big things that happen when he's a kid that I can't tell y'all because I don't want to spoil it for you. So he's struggling with that, and the things, like, there's a scene in the story when, because, you know, as Black people, as people of color, when your kid act out of line, you whoop them, right? And in his mind, he like, I'm whooping my kid so that we can have a good time later, opposed to when I was a kid and I didn't do anything and I didn't understand why I was getting these whoopings, right? Warped view of trying to correct what happened to you as a kid. I think another thing that I like about this book is because we're going from generation to generation, you get to see how history repeats itself in certain ways. How anger repeats itself similarly in people, right? Which I think is why I say often, talk to your elders about their lives, right? Because if you can figure out the things that happen with them, we might be able to prevent certain things, right? If you can understand thought processes and why they did things the way that they did and so on and so forth, we may be able to prevent certain things in us. So, food for thought. I highly recommend this book. I will do a full review of this once I'm finished reading it, which I'll probably be finished. What's today? I'll be finished in another day or two. So that is that. Now you're probably wondering, Shelby, what's next? So here are my goals. First and foremost, when it comes to reading, originally for the top of the year, I want to read between like 50 and 75 books, I believe I said. I don't remember, but I know it's around there somewhere. I want to read 20 more books for this last quarter of the year. I know that I can do it. That's about 7 books a month, which will put me a little bit over 70, right? So maybe I'll reach 75, maybe I won't, but I do want to hit that 70 mark, so I can do that. I won't really be doing TBR videos anymore, because they stress me out. And I've just accepted that I am a mood reader. I read what I'm in the mood for when I'm in the mood for it. Gratefully, I keep a lot of diverse books. My taste in books are very diverse. So I'm still reading diversely. I just can't do a TBR. Like, I can't do it's October, let's read all the spooky books. Like, I'm not in the mood for that right now. I might be in the mood for spooky books in March. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I won't be doing TBRs anymore, but I will continue to do wrap-up videos just to keep track of what I read for the month, and to keep up with my statistics. And I like doing wrap-up videos because it's fun to be able to talk about all the books, even though, like, because I can't do a review video for all of them. Make sense? So yeah, wrap-up videos, but no more TBRs. But if you guys would like to see a video of things that I do have in mind in that 20 book list, I can do that, because I have an idea. There are things that I want to read and things that I want to finish before the year is out, and things that are coming out, like Jesmyn Ward's book comes out on the 24th. I want to read that. I still haven't read James McBride's new book. So there are books that are like coming out and that I already have that I do want to read. So if you want to hear about that, let me know. And then what to expect from the YouTube channel. My goal, as long as I feel healthy enough, because I am not 100%, right? I still need a bunch of rest. still get my life in order. But as long as I'm feeling healthy enough, my goal is to post a video once a week on Fridays. Okay? Every week on Fridays, 4 videos a month. That's something that I can manage. And it won't drive me completely crazy. Okay? Okay. So I won't be posting on Instagram anymore. Whether that be my personal page or the other one. Maybe I'll do some shorts on here. I'm not sure, but I'm not really going to be on TikTok either. My goal is to focus on my YouTube channel. I want to grow my YouTube channel. I like making long form content. I want to be able to be more creative in this space. And a lot of the reason that I was burnt out is because I was trying to post on here, on TikTok, on Instagram. I was trying to do 3 videos a week and a vlog. I was trying to do this, I was trying to do that, and it just was too much for me. Maybe I'll be able to build back up to posting more than once a week on here, maybe. But for as of right now, 1 video a week until the end of the year, and then I'll reassess after this year. We'll see how the page has grown. We'll see, you know, what the consistency has held for me. We'll reevaluate and go from there. Okay. I think that's it for this video. It took me a minute to hype myself up to do this. I was a little nervous. I was a little scared. But alas, here we are. Here we are. Before I go, you know, I no longer have the bookstore. If you do want to support me and buy any of the books that I have mentioned in this video, you can shop my Amazon storefront. I know not everybody likes shopping through Amazon. For those of you that do, that is a way that you can support me. You can also still support me if you prefer audiobooks by using my Libro FM link to support me that way. Both I get commission from. Just a way to keep me being able to sustain my life and buy more books so that I could be on here talking to y'all about them. And that is it. Thank you again. If nobody has told you today, I love you. You are kind, you are smart, you are important. Bye, friends.